Sunday, January 29, the faithful from Galilee gathered to celebrate the Feast of the Beatitudes. The Salesians of the Holy Land celebrate the memory of St. John Bosco, an opportunity to rediscover the roots of their identity. The Week of Prayer for Christian Unity 2017 has ended in Jerusalem, a milestone that reveals the process of rapprochement between the churches of Jerusalem. The NGO Halo Trust launched a fundraising campaign to remove landmines from the site of Jesus' baptism and bring at last the area back to life. A craft handed down from father to son, from generation to generation, the wood-carving works of the craftsman native of Bethlehem give shape to the gospel stories. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. These were Jesus' opening words in the Sermon on the Mount, which was Sunday's liturgy on January 29th. On this occasion, as every year, many of the faithful from Galilee gathered on the Mount of the Beatitudes for a special Mass, along with several priests, religious, and bishops. We come here every year to receive the blessings of the Beatitudes. I consider this page the best and most beautiful of the Gospel. It contains the secret of human life. Visiting the place where 2,000 years ago Jesus gave his sermon and listening to the same words today is a spiritual encouragement to many local Christians and Christians from around the world.
The Lord was here and preached, gave his teachings. My experience here in the sanctuary is seeing people come in, gather in prayer, and leave in tears. The Beatitudes help us continue on our journey and hear the Lord's voice. The important thing is to open our heart and mind. That is the only thing the Lord wants from us, willingness. He will do the rest.
Di aprire la mente e dice, Signore, io voglio. Perché è quello che il Signore vuol sentire, la buona volontà. Poi il resto lo fa Lui.
The sermon of Jesus contrasts with the contemporary culture dominated by consumerism and power, proclaiming as blessed those that society refuses.
Any of us may become insecure at any particular point in time during our lifetime because of lack of material goods, but the Lord rewards us with the richness of a full spirit of love toward the people who surround us. Material goods are no longer important. Wealth consists of this love, peace, willingness to help others, to assist the sick and needy. Material poverty is not an obstacle to helping others. On the contrary, the poor are more attentive to the needs of others.
Understanding and acceptance of Jesus' teachings are possible only for those who live in faith. Typically, we project the Beatitudes into the future. Jesus, on the contrary, says, "You are already blessed. You can be happy now." This would be possible if we had his kingdom in our heart. Nowadays, in a worldly logic, we are happy only if we feel we are above others. Our happiness depends on our certainties and guarantees. Jesus tells us that the most important guarantee, the only one, is to be with him.
L'unica è quella di stare con lui.
The Feast of Don Bosco is celebrated in the Holy Land. January 31st is an opportunity for the Salesians around the world for a leap into the past at the roots of their identity. In Jerusalem, the celebration took place in the ancient Ratisbon Monastery, together with the different religious communities of the Holy Land. During the Mass he celebrated, Monsignor Giacinto Marcuso recalled the theme of the Salesian Strena of 2017, "We are family, every home a school of life and love," and the apostolic exhortation of Pope Francis, Amoris Laetitia. The specific mission of the Salesians in the Holy Land, as elsewhere in the world, is the education of young people through the schools, the oratories, and the testimony of life. This is a sublime mission. Songs, joy, and everything you need for an evangelization that bears fruit.
possiamo vedere che là dove ci sono salesiani, scuole dei salesiani,
we can see that wherever there are Salesians or Salesian schools, there are also young people who are enthusiastic, zealous, and engaged in their Christian youth mission. We invite all the pastors and all the churches to benefit from the Salesian charism so that young people can discover their mission as young Christians, as witnesses in society.
Scoprano la loro missione, che è di essere giovani cristiani testimoni nella società.
Present in the Holy Land since 1891, the Salesian Espeitoria expanded in other countries in the Middle East. It currently has 15 homes with 100 members in Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Turkey, and Iran. In the Holy Land, the Salesians are present in Nazareth, Kremazan, Beit Gamal, Jerusalem, and Bethlehem. In addition to the technical school, the professional courses, and the oratory, the Salesian Bakery is now a historic Salesian institution for the people of Bethlehem since its foundation on 1891. The Institutum Theologicum Salesianum, founded in 1929, moved from Kremazan to Jerusalem during the academic year 2004-2005.
Here we have students from 27 countries. We have 58 students studying theology, and which is a 4-year degree program. And we also have 2 diplomas which are focused on the Holy Land, education of the new priests in the Holy Land. Altogether, the teaching staff and the students together, we come from 33 nationalities from around the world.
I'm from Indonesia, so for me to celebrate the feast of St. John Bosco here in Holy Land is a great occasion for me to renew my commitment to be a good Salesian.
In this celebration, the presence of young people was essential.
This group is coming from Slovakia. Those are animators that are helping with the young group of young children, preparing summer camps and so on. And they live the Salesian charism, especially with the joy, with the singing, and then also with the fulfilling their responsibilities in school or in duties that they have. So I think that this is the Salesian charism today, to be honest citizen, but also a good Christian. And with joy, always with joy.
The Week of Prayer for Christian Unity 2017 has ended. On Sunday, January 29, a gesture ended the initiative that for 9 days brought together in prayer the leaders and faithful of 13 Christian denominations in the Holy City.
Gerusalemme è conosciuta al mondo per la divisione.
Jerusalem is known in the world for the division between its Christian churches. They do not talk, do not meet, they quarrel constantly. This week, those who come to Jerusalem can see that the different churches and their responsible leaders meet, embrace, and sincerely exchange the kiss of peace.
Sinceramente l'abbraccio di pace. Credo che questo sia il segno principale.
Peace is necessary for all the world. Without peace, it is difficult to move. For this, we are prayer to God to give us peace, full peace for the world, all that.
Songs, gospel readings, the exchange of peace, a prayer recited in unison in different languages, and the final blessing by all the religious leaders who were present. During this week, the repeated gestures are simple but full of meaning. In the room of the Last Supper, the upper room, the gesture was led by the Benedictine monks of the Dormition Abbey on Mount Zion, together with the students of theology. Being born again is a desire of individuals and churches, said Father Elias Fifi during the sermon, suggesting that this journey makes this renewal possible.
We cannot change our total mood, but we can experience that in spite of all our humility, in spite of all our weakness, we are just simple, but we are loved by God. And in this deep love, we can not change, but transform.
During the weekend, the faithful and the authorities visited the Coptic, the Ethiopian Orthodox, and the Melkite Greek Catholic churches. This holy city is the witness of the divine salvation that took place here, recalled the Melkite Archbishop Joseph Jules Zirey. Let us pray that we can reconcile soon. Every year, the atmosphere is more positive. There is more and more opportunity to build something new. Nothing sensational. There will not be huge changes, but there has been a rise in the awareness of belonging to a single body, which is the Church of Christ. Then the results are obvious. Restorations in the tomb, or changes in the parishes. More and more obvious unity activities that during this week represent a milestone that reveals the journey of all these years.
Che fa vedere il cammino di questi anni.
$1 million square meters, about 3,800 mines, 2 years of work, and $4 million of requested funds. These are the numbers of a great project that will give new life to Jesus' baptism site. A holy place that has always been revered but that has long been abandoned. Even today, the remains of monasteries and churches are concrete testimony of the Christian presence, leaving the events that took place here to our imagination. The Jordan River is very significant for several churches like ours. In fact, the Christian message began here. Halo Trust, an organization devoted to demining lands around the world, engaged to work in this area with the approval of the Israeli and Palestinian authorities for anti-mine action, has for some time launched a fundraising campaign in order to proceed with the clearance of this place, a project with multiple challenges.
There are 4 levels of challenges or obstacles that Halo Trust would deal during this project. The first one is a mine belt, is anti-personnel minefields, which place at the entrance to the site. The second one is anti-tank minefields that are stretched all over the site from north to south. The third one will be the booby traps, which were laid inside the buildings and inside the church perimeters. And the fourth one will be the unexploded ordnance, which were left and are spread all over the area.
This place is a place with a very high potential, a place that can make a lot of good for all kinds of stakeholders. If it's the churches, if it's the people who live next by, all kind of authorities that are involved in the development of the baptism site.
إلى تنظيف هذه وتطهير هذه المنطقة من أجل ما نطمح إليه في المستقبل.
This area needs to be cleaned up so that in the future it could become a more valuable touristic site and attract many more pilgrims and tourists. The Greek Orthodox, the Franciscan, the Armenian, the Russian, the Coptic, the Romanian, the Ethiopian, and the Syrian Orthodox. These are the churches of Jerusalem that have been present in these places for centuries as witnesses of the conversion that Jesus proclaimed here.
It's important, for many reasons. First of all, it's all mines. We need safety and security for all the pilgrims to visit the place. And number two, it's important because the consent of all the governments involved in the area also makes it very important for this project because it shows that the peace is real and they are committed to the peace. So to remove the mines is a sign of keeping the peace. Number three, because that's River Jordan.
Father Pizzaballa, custodian emeritus of the Holy Land, stressed that supporting this unique project is fundamental because it is contributing to the construction of bridges in the Holy Land, a small gesture of hope for peace.
Hope and pray that this project would make a contribution to the reconciliation. I think it's a very good sign of hope. A sign that would contribute to coexistence, and at the end of the day, to peace.
A workshop in the center of Bethlehem, handmade creations and 40 years of experience, Zachariah has inherited along with his brothers the tradition of carving olive wood passed down in the family for generations. This is a good profession, the finest in the country. When we were children, my father worked here and my grandfather did before him. We grew here and we learned the trade by just practicing. We did not take classes.
ما تعلمناها تعليم.
Uncle Zachariah, as he is called, strolls around in his shop. Leaning on his stick, he coordinates his workers, Christians and Muslims, and teaches them the craft. His tireless attention to detail shines through the different artifacts which are later put up for sale and purchased mostly as souvenirs. We do not do business with local Christians because they do not buy olive wood. No one among the people of Bethlehem does, so we depend on tourists and pilgrims. Zachariah devotes special attention to the stories of the Gospel. Therefore, his works often represent the Holy Family or the various stations of the Via Dolorosa. His creation earned him great fame recently. The massive reproduction of the child Jesus in wood at the request of the Foundation John Paul II in Bethlehem entered the Guinness World Records as the largest wooden statue in the world representing the child Jesus. It was Father Ibrahim Faltas's idea. He suggested this creation and also helped us retrieve the requested timber which was shipped here from Italy, since in fact we do not have such big wood logs here in Palestine. The original piece weighed 600 pounds, but once carved it weighed 300 pounds. It was 240 centimeters high and 60 centimeters wide. I believe it is the biggest item of its kind here in Palestine.
هذا أكبر قطعة تسوت في كل فلسطين.
The mission of the Christian Media Center is to bring the message of the Holy Land, the land of the fifth gospel, to the world. Broadcasts, reports, news, documentaries, the latest happenings in the church and of the daily life of Christians in the Holy Land. You can help us in this mission, raising awareness and spreading the message of the Holy Land. Help us. Visit our website,